Hey everybody, this is Erik. It's another good day of recovery. It's been a while since I posted things. I've had trips and I'm working on getting those videos uploaded. Um, but I thought of this question people have been asking, and I think it's really a good question. Now that I'm sober, how do I stay sober? That may be a big game changer because I think a lot of people get started on the steps, they're excited, and then somehow something happens and they lose sobriety, and then they start getting into a cycle, and maybe a cycle depression and anxiety, and it all kind of falls apart. And so when I work in those situations, I ask a couple of things. One is, and interestingly enough, I don't ask, well, do you really want sobriety? A lot of people think, well, maybe I don't want sobriety. Maybe I want to use my drug of choice, whether it be alcohol or food or sex or spending or gambling or whatever. um, I think that the addiction will always trick you into thinking you want to do it. And so, if you were to judge yourself going, well, I guess I don't really want this program because it feels pleasurable to me. Yeah, I wouldn't go there. I would stay in the program. If you stay in the program, the disease will die eventually. That's my experience. Um, so what causes slips, which I don't want to really focus on that, but we'll go into the solution. But I think two things. One is you haven't done all the steps. And so if you haven't completed at least steps 1 through 9 and there's still amends to be done, um, my experience is you're still going to be slipping. Um, or the other thing is, are you doing step 10 and 11 every day? You'll probably slip. And I heard someone say, and I thought this was pretty profound. He said, yeah, I did the steps in between slips. And if we just do the steps every single day, whether we think it's going to come back or not, does not matter. That is a key. Um, it's not about the weather. It's not about whether you have a high pressure front coming in that can tempt you. Just do the steps every day. That's what you can do. Everything else is up to God. So, how do I stay sober? Um, because getting sober is getting sober. Staying sober is a daily program. Do all the steps, um, and get a sponsor who's not going to delay, but who's going to help you do all those steps. And I believe in about 2 to 3 weeks is reasonable. To keep it simple, the simpler, the better. And that seems too simplistic, but simple doesn't mean being lazy or not doing something. It's just when we complicate something, that's probably pride getting in the way. That's probably our ideas and making this very heavy. And then there's lots of things to fill out, lots of reading. In fact, in the early days, I'd have people read from the AA book, say like this with Sexaholics Anonymous, the AA book, the white book, and the 12 and 12. Yeah, now I'd never do that. I just use the AA book, help them work through the steps, and just not even the whole book, just the parts of the book that are most important. From there, they can read those books afterwards. I think reading the white book gives people, the white book, for those that are wondering, is Sexaholics Anonymous. For those in Overeaters Anonymous, reading, I think Overeaters Anonymous helps you. Sorry, this cough, I don't know what to do other than to don't talk. Um, Read, the books from your program, like Debtors Anonymous, read Currency of Hope. For Narcotics Anonymous, read Narcotics Anonymous. Then you're going to learn what the problem looks like. But my personal belief and professional belief is that, but when it comes to the actual steps, do them as outlined in the AA book, and just replace the words um, for alcohol with whatever you drug. I think the solution is I'm going to take more drinks of this and try not to cough. I know it's irritating to hear that. So the simpler, the better. And I'm still finding today, if I just pray and say, God, okay, I'm powerless over this mess, whatever this mess is, or I have a resentment towards someone. I had a resentment towards someone, and I was just really shocked at how angry I was towards a situation that I thought was done, and taking their inventory. But I just happened to be in a meeting where a gentleman said he just prays for anything I'd want from myself to go to that person. And since this was another company which I was steamed at, and I had a good had a good conversation, but it's like, hey, I have a company. Everything that I'd want from my company, I want to go to them. And that'd be doing effectively step 4 and step 10. Stay connected. Stay connected with God. If we can't stay connected to God, then we're going to lose sobriety. Again, think of this metaphor of the lamp. If I'm holding on to God, I am fine. If I'm not holding on to God, I'm in trouble. Okay? So it's as simple as that. If I'm going to hold a grudge, I'm probably going to lose some sanity or sobriety, serenity. If I don't have time to pray in the morning or in the evening, I'm probably not going to stay sober. Yeah, staying connected with God is paramount. And think of God's love, think of God's power. Secondarily, I really mean this secondarily because I think these things are often reversed. People try to stay connected to their sponsors or people, meetings. It's okay. It's better than being alone. The problem is, at the end of the day, no sponsor or person can actually help you stay connected to God. And they won't be there 24 hours a day, even though I tend to be the type of person to want to be there. You know, it's kind of a idealistic thing. Oh, I was there for you at 1 in the morning and I gave you words of wisdom. Yeah, that's kind of silliness, really. It's that's an inflated sense of self, and that's what we see in movies. But God would be there at 1 in the morning. And if you can teach a person how to fish, you will have fed them the rest of their life. If you keep on handing fish, it's not going to go so well. So that's my little short. Here's our website. I also believe this is out of order. Daily 10th and 11th step, and that's connecting with God, as outlined in pages 84 to 88. Really good section because it's all about how do I grow in effectiveness and understanding. It says I look for selfishness, which would block myself from God, resentment, which would block myself from God, fears, which would block myself from God, and dishonesty. But if I pray and ask God to help me stay connected to Him, I will know what I need to do. And then, even then, I don't have to do it in my own strength. It'll be God's strength coming to me, which we call God's grace. So, anyway, I wish you well in your recovery. Hope that things are going well for you. And anyway, we'll let you go. You have a good one.